Happy Friday, everybody. It's meteorologist Diana Rodriguez, and I'm currently live in a newsroom. I just want to get on here and give you guys an update here on what we've been tracking. I'm going to give you guys a little bit some time here to hop on our stream, whatever you may be watching. It's been very cold today, I mean, to say the least. I will be answering comments here on Facebook. Let me know what you've been doing if you had to work. I know a lot of kiddos didn't have school today, and I'm sure they were all very excited about that. But they might not be excited when it comes to May, even June, and they have to make up the day for not having to attend school. All right, giving them a few minutes, a couple seconds before I dive into the forecast. Oh, is it working?
You're live.
There we go. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. All right. All right. Hopefully you guys can all hear me. Meteorologist Diana Rodriguez here, live in the newsroom, and we're going to be talking about some weather. It has been very, very cold. I'm sure we can all definitely feel it as soon as we walk outside. We're going to be tracking the bitter cold conditions that we're expecting here for the rest of this evening and through this weekend. We've also extended the first alert day to early Monday, and then we're also tracking the potential for some snow as we get into Sunday. Of course, with all that activity going on here for our southern states here, that can impact some of us here in the TV6 viewing area, as we could be seeing some flurries come Sunday morning. All right, and of course, if you have any questions or comments, make sure to leave them here and I'll answer them as we go. All right, let's hop into things. All right, there we go. Okay, so this morning, boy, it was very, very cold. I mean, these are the coldest wind chills that we've had, and I mean, that Arctic air definitely took over. I mean, Galena this morning, 44 degrees below zero. Those were the wind chills here in the Metro Quad cities. In Davenport, felt like it was negative 41. In Princeton, negative 29. So we definitely had quite the range, but nonetheless, it was brutally cold this morning. Hopefully, you didn't have too many troubles and you're staying warm here, as we're going to continue with those conditions. Like I mentioned, first alert day in effect here today, tomorrow, and even as we get into Sunday. And of course, like I mentioned, we did extend that first alert day even through early Monday morning, which I'll talk about that here in just a little bit, but those dangerously cold conditions will continue. Wind chills can still be anywhere from 15 below to even 25 to 35 below. Of course, limit time outdoors. Frostbite can happen in less than 10 minutes. And while the snow potential here for counties south and east of the Quad Cities area, that could be seeing some snow anywhere from 1 to 3 inches as we get into our Sunday. Let's take a look outside, and you're seeing our first alert camera network. We are seeing some blue skies and some clouds start to move into the area. We're going to continue with those conditions through the evening hours, and of course a lot more cloud cover will be moving through the region as we get into the overnight hours, giving us, well, a gloomy weekend on top of the bitter cold that's going to be taking over. Current temperatures right now, very cold. It's 0 degrees in Burlington, Galesburg, Kewanee, Princeton, 10 degrees below in Dubuque, negative 4 in Davenport, and negative 7 in Maquoketa. And those winds coming from the north right now. And although it's not that windy, I mean, we're still getting those sharp winds here from the north. All of that cold air just coming into the area. And with those winds and those temperatures, it feels like it's currently 27 degrees below in Dubuque, negative 23 for Maquoketa, negative 19 in Davenport, negative 16 in Princeton. So doesn't really matter where you're traveling here across the TV6 viewing area. It's going to be cold. Bundle up, layer up. Of course, not just one layer, multiple layers. I know a lot of people maybe have some plans here this evening. There's high school basketball going on, a lot of activities. And of course, we want everybody to be safe. And here's a look at those temperatures as we get through the evening, overnight hours. We're not even going to make it into the single digits. We're going to be pretty below. So not much relief, cloudy skies, of course, and then we could even be seeing a little bit of some snow flurries as we get into tomorrow. So your first alert weather forecast today, the wind chills, which is what we're going to be talking about, and then as we get into this weekend, well, we're going to continue with the dangerously cold conditions. There's also the chance that we could be seeing some snow, but specifically as we get into the overnight hours of Saturday into Sunday, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen on social media, and like we've been talking about, the southern part of the United States and even the East Coast is going to be impacted by a winter storm, ice storm, and all this activity that they're not used to. And well, we could be seeing a little bit of some snow here for those counties down to the south and to the east. As we get into next week, a lot of it is going to depend on the amount of snow that we get. Of course, a slow recovery, but I don't anticipate for us to be seeing any temperatures in the 20s. Matter of fact, we'll probably be seeing highs back into the teens, but it's going to be quite the slow recovery. Now, I've been talking about, the potential for winter storms. Here's a look at the current weather alerts going on across the country. 41 out of the 50 states right now are under some kind of winter advisory, whether it's a winter storm watch, winter storm warning, winter weather advisory, extreme cold warning, cold weather advisory, and even an ice storm warning. So definitely not something that we want to joke around about, and definitely not the kind of weather we want to be traveling in. I know last weekend I mentioned there was a possibility for us here in the TV6 viewing area to potentially see some kind of a winter storm. While we're not going to be seeing a winter storm here, that activity is going to stay to the south, but we will be dealing with the bitter cold, and like I keep mentioning, we will be dealing with some of us that could be seeing some snow flurries, especially those southeastern counties. So here at home, our current alert that we're tracking is that cold weather advisory. Of course, this morning we did have an extreme cold warning, but that did expire here at noon, and now we're just going to be hanging on to that cold weather advisory. So very, very cold. And then, so let's see, I'm going to check the Facebook comments before I continue going. Somebody said, turn up your mic, please. I'm speaking as loud as I can, so maybe you want to turn it on here. Let me see what I can mess with my audio over here. Thank you so much. Let's see. Thanks to the help of my weekend producer, Abby Lee, who's helping me out over here as we're. All right. Let's see what other comments you guys have here on Facebook. All right, Sylvia said, what about 6 today? If you're talking about temperatures, we're still going to be below zero along with the wind chill, so it's going to be very, very cold. We're still under that cold weather advisory, so if you do have plans here for this evening, definitely want to limit that time outdoors. Frostbite can happen in as less of 10 minutes. Let's see, what else? Perfect. All right, let's continue. Hopefully everybody can hear me now. All right, let's get into the things. ExactTrack. So we're going to be talking about not only what we're going to be seeing here nationally, but of course I will also be kind of taking a close eye here locally. So I've been talking about this winter storm, and you can see a lot of activity already forming off here for parts of the Midwest. You're seeing anywhere from some snow right now to even, well, some ice and even some rain. And this is going to be a slow moving system that's going to be taking over most of the weekend and even as we get into early next week. And some of that could actually sweep into the area, which is why I keep mentioning there's that chance that we could be seeing some snow. Not everybody in the TV6 viewing area. Matter of fact, there's like that threshold where I wouldn't be surprised if in Davenport we don't see any snow, but on the east side of the Mississippi River, you do see some snow. So it's one of those where we're going to keep a very close eye on here this evening and even as we get through the weekend, because of course a lot can and will change, and a lot of these models are really having a hard time trying to agree and kind of give us that certainty of, okay, who's going to be getting what, but nevertheless, we will be seeing some snow, at least some of us here across the area. And of course, as I keep mentioning, you can see that track. This system, very slow moving, but it's pretty widespread, and a lot of those areas stays down to the south. I mean, from Georgia to Tennessee, Kentucky, New York. I mean, they are going to be slammed with this weather. And of course, this system will then start to exit the United States as we get into the overnight hours of Monday into Tuesday. So luckily for us, I mean, we'll be dealing with the bitter cold, and of course, some of us could be seeing some snow, but as far as ice and something major like that, not looking likely here for us. So here's a look at ExactTrack. If you are going to be heading out this evening, you shouldn't be running into any issues except the bitter cold. A lot of cloud cover will take over the nice sunny sky here through this evening, but then as we get into tomorrow, do expect it to be another cloudy and gloomy day along with the cold temperatures. There's a slight chance that we could be seeing a few flurries, especially those southern counties and Knox County, but nothing too major. It won't be till Saturday night around midnight around 3 a.m. when we finally start to see a little bit of that snow start to move into the area. Now this is going to be a quick moving system, at least for us here, where we'll see a little bit of that snow. As far as accumulations, it shouldn't be anything too major, of course, but I don't anticipate for us to be seeing a lot of sunshine or relief from any of this winter weather here anytime soon. As far as snow totals, I mean, we could see a light dusting here in the Metro Quad Cities, but models are showing a range anywhere from 1 to 2, excuse me, to even 3 or 4 inches worth of snow. Of course, a lot can and will change, and we'll keep you up to date here with your latest forecast. Now that's going to take us into Monday morning, on why we decided to extend another first alert day here from midnight until noon on Monday. Bitter cold conditions. A lot of people are going to be heading back to work. A lot of kiddos are going to be going back to school. Of course, limit that time outdoors. Make sure you dress appropriately. Wind chills are still expected to be from 15 to even 30 degrees below. So we do want everybody to be safe. And of course, here's what we're going to be feeling like as we get into 6 a.m. on Monday. Up north in Galena, it's going to feel like it's negative 27 degrees below zero. Here in the Metro Quad Cities, 19 degrees below. So we're not really getting much relief here from this bitter cold, even as we get into Monday morning. It won't be until the afternoon and evening hours when we finally start to feel like we're in the single digits. And that'll actually feel a little bit better after having multiple days of it being below zero. Not only the temperatures, but also the feels like. And as always, make sure you download the KWQC First Alert Weather app, as myself and the entire weather team will keep you up to date here with the latest forecast. And well, let me see what we've got going on here on Facebook as far as any questions, comments, concerns that you all may have.
So it's in the comments, not the chat.
What is? Okay, Lindsay, why is it not an extreme cold anymore? Lindsay, there's a certain threshold when it comes to warnings and advisories. So that is why they decided to, let's see. Oh, sorry, we're having audio problems again. Okay, so to answer your question, Lindsay, when it comes to the difference between, okay, why we no longer have an extreme cold warning and now why we have the cold weather advisory, a lot of it just depends on the threshold and the amount of hours and how cold it gets. And of course, compared to this morning when some of us did get as low as 40 degrees below zero with the wind chill, and now we're seeing a little bit of an improvement, we changed that advisory. Excuse me, sorry, I'm over here. Hopefully they can all hear me. Yeah? Perfect. Sorry, everybody. I'm over here having audio issues. How much snow will we get? It just depends on where you're located, Ashley. It depends on where in the TV6 viewing area. Areas down to the south and east of the Quad Cities could be seeing anywhere from 1 to 2 inches worth of snow. But this shouldn't be anything major that we get here across the area. Corey, the winds seem to die down. Yeah. The winds aren't too bad right now, but of course, I mean, we're still getting those winds that are coming from the north, so it's going to still feel bitter cold. All that Arctic flow. Let's see, let me turn this back on. There we go. You guys can all see me now. Okay, what other questions do you guys have? Let's see. All right. No more questions. All right, well, moral of the story here for this weekend, we do want all of you guys to be safe. Definitely bundle up, layer up as you're out the door. Download the KWQC app, as myself and everybody else will continue to keep you guys up to date here with your latest forecast. Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland will have your first alert weather forecast here at 4, 5, 6, and 10 p.m. with the latest update. And we'll, of course, even as we get into this weekend.